Good evening, my name is Dan, the Garblag Troll, and this is Star Wars Tales of the Warlord. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the game. Don't forget our other games out there on the Garblag channel. All our GMs doing a great job bringing you fantastic content. Don't forget that Lord Garblag wants us to talk about the Amazon Prime deal that's going on at the moment. Amazon Prime customers get one free Twitch channel subscription per month. And also don't forget, for all you Twitch watchers out there, that you can spend 1,000 Garblag goats on a reroll for one of our players, which they might find handy in the course of the game. Tonight's game, we're going to be playing Star Wars West End Games, 2nd edition, revised and expanded. A classic for you all out there. As I've said, this is Star Wars Tale of the Warlords, which is set in the deep core of the Star Wars Galaxy campaign setting, about 5 months after Return of the Jedi. At the moment, the Lord Regent tries to hold on to power on Coruscant, but deep in the galactic core, 3 Imperial warlords vie for power, and it is felt throughout the galaxy that whoever is the victor of that conflict will probably go for the reins of power on Coruscant and remove that from the Regent. Now, but of course, it's the deep core, and there's lots of spatial anomalies, lots of pirate smugglers, and our players are going to be beginning the game as a kind of group of scoundrels and vagabonds of a ship, which we haven't come up with a name yet. We should really do that, actually, before we get started. But first of all, let's start with our players, and we'll go with Jim first. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Jim. I'm playing a ex-stormtrooper gambler called Gax Dakin. Quite a bit of a happy-go-lucky, takes nothing too seriously sort of guy. Looking for a bit of adventure since his time with the miserable Empire.
Nine.
Oh, I am the medical droid E2B. I was not very functional when the crew found me on the ship that they escaped with. I used to patch up stormtroopers and occasionally the odd tortured subject, but that passed behind me. I want to do good for the galaxy, even if it's within my programming to do so. I'm also really, really weak, so I'm going to be hiding a lot.
Colin?
Hi, I'm Colin. I am playing Catalana Tavik, who is an ex-Imperial TIE fighter pilot, who also escaped and is seeking a less expendable role in the galaxy.
And finally?
Yes, I'm Eve. In this session, I'll be playing Mirabel Sorin, which is Miriel, and which has been a mechanic for a while on Nashada, working for the head cartel, and she is trying not to escape. Well, the Hutt's influence, basically, because she didn't like how things went with the Empire ruling and the Hutt's not really caring about what's happening.
Fantastic. Thank you, Eve. Right, okay, so as you've probably kind of got the feeling there, we've got a bunch of ex-Imperials and a sort of scoundrelly rogue mechanic type bundled away on a Whiting 1300 space frigate, which for you geeks out there will be well aware is the Millennium Falcon, as advertised by Colin in his backdrop.
Yes. Had to do it.
Yeah, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So we actually need a name for this starship. It's probably something we should have talked about before we started, but hey ho. Does anyone have any suggestions?
Oof.
Oh boy, that's a lot.
Any
I don't
ideas?
know. Well, nobody
Not
wants to
yet, no.
like name it. Well, I don't want to name it something lame, like the goldfish or something. That would just be like, oh, don't worry, we're the crew of the goldfish.
Yeah.
That could have its merits.
I don't know. I'm kind of open to suggestions. I mean, I'm the droid. I'm not really meant to be making these decisions. Who's the captain? Actually, did we assign a captain?
Well, the
I would
idea
presume it's the pilot, but
It's by default, I guess.
it's kind of, in the sense that this ship is also part owned by the Hutts.
Sorry.
So you've kind of
okay,
taken out a
okay.
loan on it. They've given you this ship. You guys own it together, and they own the other half. You're basically paying them off as you would your your car, any car deals.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
like
they're a
mortgage,
criminal
yeah.
organisation.
Yes.
Oh, fun.
Right.
That's fine. Well, I'll tell you what, we'll chair that for now. And if anyone can come up with an idea, let me know in the chat. Or, if there are any Twitch watchers listening and watching, maybe they've got a suggestion for the ship. So that'd be cool. And we can name the ship that. What do you think?
That's a great idea.
That's great.
Yeah.
I occasionally have them. They're rare and far between. I'm just going to hold my hands up to it.
Yeah. Very, very democratic.
Right, okay, let's crack on then. So, our game opens on a planet called Socorro, deep in the galactic core. This planet is renowned for its black sands. The mineral content of the sand gives it a sort of like black overlay, very much in the theme of Tatooine, similar architecture style, with its cities and colonies, but has a sort of black sand, and it orbits a massive red giant sun. So it kind of always has that eerie red glow feel to it when you're crossing the deserts. Our players are currently in Boga the Hutt's palace. Now, Boga the Hutt is the local crime lord whose debt you owe to him for the ship. Boga the Hutt is the crime boss for the deep core. He basically, if there's a criminal enterprise afoot, it goes through him and his organization. Boga, though, is perhaps considered a little eccentric by other Hutts, but he is well renowned for having his finger on the pulse of most of the information in the sectors surrounding the system that he runs. So he's very well connected and very, very something that he has his own spy network in some sense. However, Boga presents himself in a different light. As an eccentric Hutt, he not only is that sort of larger than life frame with the big green slimy tail, little hands, big tongue, he also wears, let's say, a little purple fez on his head with kind of black tail feathers coming out. And he wears a bejeweled vest, which does not fit well at all. Rolls of fat kind of come out of the sides. But the many gems that he has plastered across it twinkle in the light and give a good representation of the man's wealth. It is also well known that you do not mess with Boga the Hutt. Though eccentric in personality, he was once upon a time considered the runt of the litter and had to work his way up and first started off as a pit fighter. So it's well known that he can also handle himself in a fight, which is quite rare for a Hutt. His palace, as it were, is actually in fact a sort of desert-style tribal tent complex, much in the sense of those kind of like desert bell tents or Bedouin tents, all interconnected with various different sheets and tarpaulin, and the tents are a sort of intricate network of passages and closed off areas. Some tents are bigger than others, being quite expansive. Others are smaller for like common meeting areas. When you go in, when you're in the tents, the room is filled with the smell of burning incense. There is very, very expensive rugs thrown out on the floor. Holes have been dug into the sand and kind of like shaped to seats with lots of throw cushions on them. And like, so you would sit in these kind of different pits. You're in the main sort of bar area, of course. This is an adventure, so traditionally, of course, we need to start off in some sort of bar.
Yep.
Where you've just kind of arrived back from your last job. You guys are sitting around one of these, sitting in one of these pits. There's music playing in the background. Band. Not sure if we'll get away with copyright on that one. Little band playing, dancers. The bar is in the center of this large tented area around the main post that kind of holds it up. It's a large series of weird tanks filled with various different liquids connected by lots of pipes, and it surrounds the main post. And then beneath it is a circular bar, wooden, with a couple of bartenders behind it. Like any such place, it is filled with a number of aliens from across the galaxy, Rodians, Twi'leks, Sullustans, from all walks of life. This is where we find ourselves. You've just kind of got together from your last job. Your ship is safely secured in one of the docking tents, docking bays. No one's going to touch it because you work for Boga. So you're safe and reassured that it's not going anywhere. And words come down that Boga wants to meet with you to discuss another job.
Okay. Let's hope he actually pays us this time.
Yeah. Well, we do owe him for the ship, I suppose, as well. So got to be careful.
Yeah.
Yes, very true, very true.
Right. So Boga's kind of vizier, like second, comes up to you. He's a Twi'lek. He's kind of got a very kind of dark hue to his skin. Around it's kind of like that sort of pale white, but it's kind of got a grey sort of hue to it, indicating that he's quite old. Also, his tentacles at the end of each one, they have kind of like large metal sort of points on each end. You're not sure if those are attachments or if they cover the actual heads of his tentacles. He's wearing sort of like brownish blue traveler desert garb, robes, kind of things. Like if he was out in the desert, you think he'd probably be able to survive there without any help. And he comes up and he goes, gentlemen, ladies, it's good to see you. Get whatever drinks you need, and follow me to go meet Lord Boga.
Okay.
Sure, let's go. We don't make the hats wait.
Yes.
You don't keep the hut waiting.
Do not keep the hut who owns the bar you're drinking in waiting.
Yes.
So you're taken through the bar area, through the tents, and very quickly, unless you don't have a sort of sense of direction, it's almost a little maze-like, going through all these different tents and passageways. One could easily get lost in there if you didn't have a guide, or maybe go into the wrong room and get a blaster to the head. But eventually you're taken into a side tent. Lord, excuse me, Boga the Hutt is sitting there resplendent with his fez, bejeweled, ill-fitting waistcoat jacket thing, lounging on a massive throne of throw cushions and pillows. He has an exotic dancer fanning him, and he's smoking on a sort of large shisha type thing. plumes of an acrid sort of green smoke emanating from his mouth. And he takes a big tug, blows it out, looks at you all and goes, it is good to see you all again. This is my bad Hutt accent. It is good to see you all again. Ha ha. Weirdly for a Hutt, he also speaks Galactic Common as well. He doesn't use an interpreter droid. Yeah, basic kind of thing. He doesn't use an interpreter droid. He always feels it's kind of bad business relying on droids for that sort of thing. And he goes, gentlemen, good to see you again. I am glad you have been successful at our last little job. I have another business deal for you if you are interested.
We're always interested in earning money, Boga.
Of course you are. We are all interested in earning money and credits. Yes. Ha 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 ha. And he gives the big booming Hutties laugh. Oh, 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 oh. So, gentlemen, I have been approached by an Imperial, no less, transportation job, getting past an Imperial blockade to meet with someone at a location that they will disclose for you. I am already going to be taking my cut from the job, of course, but for yourself, for the crew, upon delivery, it would be 2,000 credits.
Boga, you know we're worth more than that. Yeah.
Okay.
We're a stable team. Yeah.
Make a business roll.
Business roll.
Let me get out the rule book. Here we go. First one of the night, guys. Don't forget those. Don't forget those wild die rolls.
Yeah.
Let's see what we. I love that you're trying to negotiate with a Hutt. Frankly,
you're not even holding a thermal detonator.
I think you should just get an extra character point for the ballsiness of it. So please record that on your character sheet.
Thank you.
How many character points and things do we have to start with? Because I've not noted that anywhere.
If you're force sensitive, you start off with 2 force points. If you're not force sensitive, you start with 1 force point. And you're starting with, let's say we each start with 5 character points as well.
So is that a character point? Sorry, Dan.
Yeah, so you'll get an extra character point, so you're 6. That's 5 character points to be starting the game with. This is a sort of freebie to represent the fact that you're all kind of like experienced guys, that you've been through it a little bit. It's not one that you would have spent initially on character creation, as it were.
Cool.
Right, make a business roll.
Business, is that under perception?
It's a knowledge skill.
Knowledge.
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got 2 dice plus 1.
Okay. So it's a bit of a roll off. Don't forget your wild die.
You're going to end up with agreeing for us to get even less money, aren't you?
So is that 2 dice including the wild die?
Yes.
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 Right. So I rolled.
Cool. Which one's your wild die?
The white one, actually.
All right, fair enough. So because you got 6, you get to re-roll that white one again.
Probably.
Okay.
And then add that roll.
Knowing our luck.
Okay, got an extra 4.
Fantastic. So what's the total on that?
15.
Good job.
Yeah.
Oh,
15.
but you got +1, didn't you? So 16.
Yeah, 16. Yeah, sorry.
Nice.
Okay. Not bad. Not bad at all. The Boga the Hutt looks at you for a moment like a little bit surprised in that.
Hey, come on, Boga, we go back years. Yeah.
Come on, that sort of look of why are you trying to negotiate with me? But the kind of the gusto and the sheer fact that you're doing it has kind of set him off kilter a little bit. So he goes, okay. Another 500 credits in addition, but that is my final offer. This is an easy job for your set of skills.
Hey, and they are a set of skills as well, Boga.
Excellent. This Imperial is already in the bar. She will come and find you. The rest is up to you. Right, we are done. And he kind of waves you away dismissively, like some sort of lord of the manor.
Right.
Which basically is.
Which he is. It's entirely appropriate. So as they're walking away, Catalan will mutter, "Great. Just what I don't want."
Hey, it's easy money. He said it himself.
It's easy money until this Imperial, whoever she is, spots who we are, or notices we're wandering around with an Imperial military medic droid.
Maybe we should try and disguise the droid. WEG?
Well,
I'm not sure. What do you think? It's gonna be. They're gonna be defecting from the Empire as well, no? Aren't they?
E2B1 is a commercially available droid out of military circles as well. He can be bought on Civvy Street.
Okay.
However, I'm going to kind of be making an assumption that you have gone out of your way to kind of take all the Imperial markings off him.
Yes, he does not have he does not have the Imperial, you know.
But what I will say, is it E2B1 or EZB1? E2B1. There's no changing your kind of like droid transponder code, kind of like the thing that would identify you mechanically as a droid. Basically, your sort of serial number ID code.
We can't file off the serial numbers.
The only way.
Oh dear.
Who did we just lose?
We just lose.
No, we lost the droid.
We just lost the person you were talking to.
He's malfunctioning already.
It's already
these droids, they are eccentric.
Suggestions for the ship name so far.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Pete has suggested the bicentennial pigeon, because, of course.
Is that an internal private joke?
Well,
no, it's not.
The bicentennial pigeon.
Oh, right. Okay. Of course.
Ardun has suggested the hairy Wookiee.
The hairy Wookiee, okay.
And someone called Plays Forever has suggested the humble merchant. I'm not sure who that is.
I'm going to say a few of those are good suggestions, and I'm going to say one of them isn't.
Yeah, that pigeon one's definitely good.
Shall we wait a little bit for night or crack on? I think we'll crack on. We'll crack on for a little bit.
As you want.
We'll crack on.
The misplaced Minoc is apparently another group of PCs ship in another game.
How about banter fodder?
Banter fodder.
Yeah, we were a bit. The stream's a bit off at the moment with Jim's half. Jim's half
I'm
into
half
nice
and half.
space. You're half and a half. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Half gambler, half droid.
It's fine. You just play both of them.
So where we were. The droid E2B1, you can't, though you've taken off the decals and the markings and all the stuff to identify him as an Imperial droid, and his model of droid can be bought commercially on Civvy Street, there is no changing that sort of ingrained droid code that identifies him as an Imperial.
Yes.
Not without some sort of droid reprogramming role, which quite frankly would probably be hard. It is doable. It's just you might wipe them in the process if you don't do it correctly.
Right.
Which is why you've been a bit off in doing it so far.
Yep.
Right, so You return to the bar area, get some more drinks, return to your little kind of like seating area, chilling out in the in one of the sort of like circled pits areas where you've got a little table. There's a little holographic display in the center of it, showing the latest like drama from the core systems, and a bit of light entertainment. Eventually,
whatever Star Wars equivalent of Game of Thrones is.
I was thinking worse. I was thinking more like Neighbours or EastEnders or something.
Okay. Well, I was thinking it might be something slightly edgy in Hutt's palette.
So eventually, this human female comes up to your table and kind of looks at you all, and she says, "I believe you are the crew I am looking for."
Well, we were expecting someone, so if you were expecting to find a crew, probably.
Good. Boga told me that you would take the job. This is good news.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're up for it.
Where is it we're going to?
Good for us.
Yeah, why don't you sit yourself down and go through the details, or is this a quiet enough area?
No, perhaps I should. Someone get me a drink, please. I'll have a Rhodian brandy.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure.
So she gets her drink, sits down. She gives each of you a sort of a look of kind of summing you each up. Like, right, okay, I've kind of figured out this person by looking at them and kind of almost kind of get an insightful look. My name is... No, go on.
So, what do you do for the Imperials?
I'm an adjutant. An adjutant to a Captain Blackstar. My name is Ensign Tori.
Does any of that ring any bells?
You've heard of a Captain Blackstar. He is a Star Destroyer captain.
Not someone I served under, then.
No. In fact, as far as Imperials go in this kind of aerial space, you've tried to stay out of their way as much as possible. So you're not 100% familiar with the politics of the day. I mean, you are aware that there's a sort of a feud going on, but to what extent you don't know.
I'm aware of the rumours. I'm not aware of anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
My internal information is a little ways out of date.
I need to take a message from my captain to some contacts.
Okay.
Between us and those contacts, it's an Imperial blockade. You need to get me through the blockade to the planet safely, so I can have this conversation and pass on this message. If we were to go around the blockade, well, we don't have the time for it. The window would not be viable, and this is situational information critical to the ongoing Imperial situation at the moment in the deep core.
Okay.
Yeah, we can choose your official Imperial business. Why can't you go through the blockade yourself?
As you may or may not be aware, there are 3 Imperial factions here in the deep core vying for power. Nothing has come to any serious blows yet. There have been 1 or 2 little skirmishes. My captain belongs to one faction. The blockade that we're going through belongs to another faction. Specifically, the direct competition, as it were, to the faction that we work for. There are 3. I don't know if you're aware of the situation. There are 3 warlords, one by the name of Duke Villainous, one by the name of Mothraken. That is a name you all know, out of character. And the last one is a Commodore Zizia. If you want to, you can make either streetwise rolls on each of them. Sorry, streetwise roll or some sort of academic roll.
I have neither of those skills, but I'll roll some dice.
They're both knowledge.
It's fine.
Yeah. Thraken is. He's not the guy. He's not the guy from the what should have been 7, 8, and 9. It's either no. He was a Grand Moff.
Yeah, no.
He was terrifying. I do not want to cross him.
You know this guy.
Right. Oh.
Do you want to roll and tell me what you got?
As you wish. Tell me.
Knowledge.
Yeah, okay, so that's knowledge plus 3 twice, so that's 3d plus 1d, so that's 4.
Awesome. 6 on the 6 on the wild die.
Roll again.
So
I got 10.
I got a 10 in total, but my knowledge is pretty crap, so I'll take it. I got 9 on the wild die and 1 on the other.
I've got 14.
Okay. Between you, first of all, you've heard of Mothraken before. He's originally the imperial authority in this space during the time of the Emperor, before the destruction of the last Death Star. Excuse me. He's well known for being a bit of a tyrant, and you've seen him on holographic displays and on posters and things. He is, of course, he's a human male gentleman, and he has this kind of weird purple face hugger thing attached to one side of his face, and it's kind of growing into it, and you can see like where the veins on his head would normally be. Instead, there are sort of like purple and black roots emanating into his skin. Some say it's some sort of alien creature that got attached to him in a mission, but you don't know what. The other 2 Grand Admirals is here, rumored to be a bit of a tactical genius, and is a veteran of the Clone Wars. Duke Villainous, of the old noble political stock, more sort of a heavy political player in the days of the Emperor, like high up in his court kind of thing. Why he's in this neck of the woods, no one really knows. So
what do we think, guys?
It should be doable. So which can you give us a bit more information on which faction is currently manning the blockade?
Well, my captain, he flies for Zizia, and we know that this blockade is one of Mothraken's.
Mm-hmm.
We think he has. We know for a fact that he has a couple of Invicta cruisers hanging around, and unfortunately, the heavy amount of spatial anomalies in the area, given the galactic core, is heavy on gas giants, pulsars, black holes, all those sort of things that create massive gravity wells and plays havoc with astronavigation and traveling through hyperspace. He's got his little blockade on a key route that you have to go to if you're going to go through to this neck of the woods of space. To go around, we could do, but it would take too long for the time frame that I've got to go and see these contacts and deliver a message.
Mm-hmm. That sounds a little bit more challenging, but okay.
But as I understand it, both Boga has promoted you as the crew for the job on this case.
We've got through a few blockades. How far we're talking? Jump in, jump out. We're not trying to land within their gun sights, are we?
No, as I understand, the blockade itself is hangs in space. We'll set a navigational course to the planet that we want to go to, and I imagine the gravity well itself, as we approach, will probably pull us out of hyperspace directly in front of them. At which point they'll scan our ship, your ship, I should say. Probably comm us. You need to do whatever it is that you need to do to get us past that blockade, out of it, so that we can continue on our journey.
Right. A couple of interdicted cruisers on a major route. They'll have plenty to be dealing with. How much traffic's going through?
Well, you're not wrong. It is a major space lane. So that's all that I'm aware of. But if it was me, I would have more forces there as well to do
the
scanning and
is it just
what was needed.
Is it just dead space, or have we got?
No, it's dead space. There's nothing there.
There has to be some type of ship that can go through. Any ideas on that?
Well, they pull you out. Interdicted cruise will pull you out, but then once you just have to get out of its range again. Not that fast. The problem is the escorts that are going to.
Yeah.
So either we try and talk our way past.
Yeah, that was kind of my point.
Give us details on where the. Where it is we're going, what route we're going on. We'll see what we can do. Give us. Call it. 24 hours. We'll get.
We're going to a little moon called Everad. She gets out a small holographic display and shows the system, and then it kind of zooms in on this moon orbiting a gas giant. Everad itself is a mostly oceanic world. Again, the water here is kind of got a red hueish color, and the local fauna. So there's no real land masses, just very large balls of almost like gigantic tumbleweed, but like city-sized tumbleweeds that float on the water. And the locals there have built their habitats into those large plant-like life forms. And we're going to be going to one of these, she continues. The sort of holographic display zooms out again and zooms back into where the blockade is. This will be the blockade. It will be, in total, only a 6-hour journey to get there, if that, but it's almost at sort of like hour 4 that I suspect will be pulled out of hyperspace by the blockade.
Okay. So is the blockade actually blockading this planet or this route? There's more planets behind it that we might be heading to?
It's blockading that route.
Cool.
There's a system further into the core. I don't know if you've heard of it. Doesn't really have a name, but it is a tri-star system. Each star has a heavy amount of gas giants, asteroid belts, a lot of mining, a lot of mining guild work there.
Cool.
A lot of production, a lot of factories. Very, very busy system. Heavy with each imperial has a presence there, and it's almost as if what you would call the flashpoint. If anything was to happen, it would happen there. So that's why I suspect they've got the blockade on that route.
Yeah. Okay. So I was. I'll kind of waiting for her to finish before we go back to talking.
She takes a sip on her Rhodian brandy, this kind of blue, bubbly liquid. She gives each of you a sort of look, expectantly, saying, you know, what is it? What are your intentions here?
Well, do we have any information on other planet in the system? Something that would legitimize our business being around, or at least make it plausible?
Pretty much what I was thinking. We got a large mining presence. That means they're going to need shipments of resources, people, food.
On the next system along, or the Everad system? The Everad system is.
Yeah, the other one.
I was thinking the next system along is more for somewhere we could be legitimately flying to.
Yeah, but yeah.
Blockade don't need to know where we're stopping. Just that if we can talk our way past them, then.
Yeah, if they don't track us, or otherwise we're gonna have some trouble getting back.
Hmm.
Then we'll go around the other way.
Don't know.
Or try and lose them in the flashpoint. Go and fly through some of their opposition's territory. They could try and chase us if they want to kick off a fight. But
I see you're eager to put your skill to the test. As always.
I'm eager to.
That's true, but
I'm eager to not be trying to fly a.
I do not want to be the one responsible for this to turn into an actual full-blown civil war between these Imperial factions.
Neither do I, but given the choice between blown out the sky and getting them to blow each other out the sky, I think I know which one I'm going for. Hopefully we can lose them. Intent would be then to spend a day, try and get a decent cover story for transit out to this mining system. Maybe try and see if we can actually find some contacts with something that needs shipping out there, or someone who needs something shipped back from there.
Well, out of character.
Making it true is going to make the
this
make it a bit
Jabba's
easier.
palace. There's always someone going somewhere.
Exactly. So if someone wants something shipped to there or retrieved from there, then that gives us a reason to be going there that isn't sneaking something past these Imperials. And then we have a little stop off on the way there.
Absolutely. Money to be made.
Yep. Right.
Yes, it's fine.
That's a rough plan.
Is there anything that you gentlemen will need to get before we go?
I'm going to point out, OC, that you keep referring to us as gentlemen, but out of the group,
yeah,
there's a droid, one human male, one human female, and one alien female.
On that note, Knight doesn't seem to have come back.
Yeah, we're kind of missing a droid.
Is he saying that Knight will be back next episode? Might have some trouble with the internet, I guess.
Oh dear.
I've seen it now. Yeah, on the Discord, it's going on and off again. So yeah,
that's a shame.
Well,
oh well.
Legal problems.
We have an NPC medical droid then for this session. Hopefully, we won't need a medical droid.
Let's just hope we don't have a medical emergency. Yes.
Well, you've got his stats.
So, is there anything that you as a crew will need before we head off?
From you?
No, that you need to get.
Well, yes, we need to try and secure a cover story that isn't we're trying to smuggle a rival Imperial officer through the blockade. But so, as I said, give us a day and we'll have something.
Okay.
Whether it's real or a lie, we'll have to see what pans out for us.
I'll meet you back here in 24 hours.
Yep.
Okay. I have
bring some casual clothing, please.
Oh, well, I am
or something.
Not going to be bringing my uniform.
Yeah,
good.
Great.
Don't worry about it. I have some quarters here. I'll be there. Please take my frequency if you need me for anything.
Perfect.
And with that, she kind of dusts herself off a little bit, looks around, and heads off into the crowd.
So, what do we think?
I think getting some work heading in that direction. Might as well double up on the pay, even if even aside from its value as a cover story.
Yeah, good point.
I fully agree to that. That job seems too easy to be true.
It might be, it might not be. It depends on one person on a ship. Depends on how closely they're looking for, how carefully they're searching.
Yeah, maybe we should have a little search on the HoloNet first, just to maybe test the waters or something. I don't know.
That could be a good shout, actually.
Yeah, that's probably a good plan. Gax, you're probably the best for trying to, source some more work for us. Do you want to?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll start asking around, see if I can find something to give us a little bit of cover and to give us a little bit more money. I'll
if nothing
around.
Actually comes out, then just figuring out the kinds of things that are heading that way. Maybe we'll see if we can fabricate something.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have an ask around the usual fixers or money men in this bar area, sort of thing. See if I can pick up some information or
Streetwise roll, please.
Preferably something low heat. Just like
well, I'll accept a streetwise roll, a business roll, or an intimidation roll.
Okay. I've got bargain or persuade.
That's not exactly the same.
Bargain or persuade would probably be.
What does bargain come under?
Yeah, it's probably much more like getting a price on something.
It's perception. So it's
cheaper. Perception. Yeah.
Bargain seems to make sense. Bargain and persuade seem to make a lot of sense once you've actually found someone to talk to.
Yeah. So I've asked around and I've rolled I've rolled 6. 1 being my wild dice.
So the 6 was wild die.
No. I've rolled 6 altogether, but that's the 5 and a 1, and the wild dice is the 1.
So,
okay, for his perception roll, I should have done it myself. Okay, now we know. Because you were saying that
business, I could do myself, but
no, it's almost as if no one wants to talk to you.
Okay.
People keep on making excuses.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
I was going to suggest that. I'm just checking the Twitch stream for the character names. The Mirabelle has a nose around on the net and sees what she can find there.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I can find some business.
Anything about?
I actually have that skill about business, so I can roll that.
And given that I don't have much else to do, I'm also going to just see what I can find out.
So that's knowledge. Knowledge is 3 and business +1, so that's 4 dice.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. So we got total of 9, 10, and 13.
So is this that you're trying to find a job here to go there?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
To go somewhere, anywhere in the system, basically, because we can eventually make detour to the end of the planet and then go back to Everard. That's the name.
Okay.
Everard's the place we're going to.
Yeah. But if
we go there
deliver
first,
something in the system, it's fine as well.
Yeah, probably we go there first and then possibly we carry on to. But mostly it's getting past the blockade. We should be well out of sight of the blockade by the time we get to Everard and land unexpectedly.
Okay, interestingly, again, it's almost as if no one really kind of wants to get in contact. You see a couple of jobs, and then when they find out who it is that's trying to reach them, they're like, no, it's okay. You do get one person, though, also within Boga the Hutt's organisation, a Sulliston who's looking to ship some equipment to a planet not in the TriStar system. It's actually a little further on, but you would be going that way.
Yeah, it's the direction I'm interested in.
The problem is, so there's always a little twist.
Yes.
Because that's how these things are. So the planet you're going to, make a planetary systems roll. Knowledge.
Is that all of us, or?
I'm assuming you're sharing the information, yeah?
Yeah.
Then it would be all of you.
Yeah.
Knowledge roll.
Knowledge roll.
2D.
I need to roll a white dice as well. Sorry.
So I've rolled 2, both being ones, including the wild dice again.
I did better. I got 4 with 1 on the wild die.
Oh, damn that wild dice.
That's going to be 13 for me.
Okay, so one of you gets the roll. So this Sulliston, who's just known as the governor, runs a planet on behalf of the Huts, which basically does Tapani gas mining, but it's not Tapani gas. It's a sort of cheap equivalent of Tapani gas, being the sort of one of the key ingredients that you use for blaster ammo.
Yes.
This is a knockoff equivalent.
Knockoff blaster ammo. Just
knockoff blaster ammo. I mean, it's still applicable. The planet isn't run by the Imperials. It's another hut. It's run by the Huts. And the equipment that he wants delivered, though not at all illegal, and quite, could be for anything. But then, if received in the context of gas mining, would perhaps raise suspicions. The planet itself is quite unique. It is a world of ginormous trees, and it has a strange alien life form. Basically looks like a sort of 6-legged giant kind of dinosaur-like animal, short, quite squat, has a huge shell-like back, almost like a turtle, has these giant 6 legs, a long neck like a diplodocus, which reaches up into these giant trees to kind of eat the plants. But these things are so ginormous that they can fit a small village on top of them. They are huge animals. And from a blowhole in the top, they release a gas. Look on that how you will. I ain't going there. And they use that gas. They
blaster ammo out of dinosaur parts.
Yeah.
What could go wrong?
And these little so they have these gas mining rigs on top of the dinosaur. Well, these alien creatures, as they go around this giant wood. These trees being ginormous tower block-like trees. The planet, so these kind of almost mining rigs sit on top of these things as they go around, and they mine the gas. And it's basically equipment for one of those rigs that you would be delivering. Again, mechanically, that equipment would be fine, but in the context of what it would be used for, that's legal. The planet itself is completely forested, much like Endor, so it's kind of like a forest moon, but as I said, giant trees. Has a very limited mountain range. In fact, there's hardly any mountains there. There's one giant central mountain, and that's where the main spaceport / city is, where the governor runs his operation from. And that city sits atop like a kind of giant crest on top of that singular mountain that kind of climbs out of this giant, massive forested mountain, forest range.
So,
right, on the plus side, that is business. On the plus side too, that's for the Huts, and the Imperial might not want to mess up with the Huts.
On the downside, they're asking us to ship stuff. We need to. we're looking for something that gives us a reason to be going somewhere. And if the stuff we're shipping,
you could easily blag that equipment for anywhere else in the galaxy. Absolutely, it's as mining equipment, as gas mining equipment, which could be used in any situations around gas.
So
giants.
we could say we're taking it to the TriStar.
Could be, yeah. But again, if a customs officer goes, hold on a second.
Yeah.
The other plus side, it might be used as a diversion for them looking at the merchandise rather than who's on the ship.
Yeah, if they confiscate the what's the penalty if we lose the merchandise?
What the penalty?
Not the woman.
You would be fined by the Imperials, or they would just confiscate it.
Yeah.
But then you'd have a mark on you from the Hutts. So the Hutts would go, well, hold on, where's our mining equipment?
Yeah,
you said you were going to shut this. And that's basically not getting a job done for the equivalent of the mob.
I know.
So, I mean, you could probably blag your way out of it and make up for it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just that they've got one more thing to use against you if it goes wrong.
Yeah. Exactly the type of things we try to avoid, but yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Everything.
Yeah. Let us know in the Twitch comments.
Or don't give the GM ideas.
Well, I think we've got nothing to lose.
I think we've got plenty to lose, but yeah, that's.
I think we have plenty to lose.
Those custom guys I can talk away to them.
Okay, if you can do some talking, Mobile, how good would you be at fabricating some shipment details?
Ooh,
just trying to think, if we're shipping something to another place, it would be good to have at least some semblance of a document trail to suggest we're actually taking it there.
Yeah, I'm not very specifically skilled in forgery, but
well,
I could probably make something that looks decent.
Out character, I could allow a forgery roll for that, or a bureaucracy roll.
Which one's the first one?
Forgery.
Forgery, yeah, don't get forgery. They are both knowledge skills.
Let me double check. Probably.
Good, the book, yeah.
Yeah, bureaucracy is knowledge.
Well, unless the other one is dexterity, I probably should go for knowledge.
Trying to find forgery for you, but... Forgery is a perception skill, and in hindsight, we probably should have used the bargain roll when you were negotiating with the Hutt rather than the business roll. My apologies for that. Yeah, so forgery is a perception roll.
I have got points in bargaining as well.
Well, you came out on top anyway, so you know.
Yeah.
It was the
I didn't roll a 1.
Yeah, I'm gonna try the knowledge roll and see what I can get out of that.
Cool.
Oh, that's not gonna be great. I've got wild dice 1 and total of 7.
Okay.
Oh man.
Now I know previously in the Discord chat we had discussed how like maybe the wild die is a die mechanically that I would normally say. So you either the DM says, "Oh, take away the lowest, take away the highest." Dice in your roll, or something interesting happens. So when I go like this, oh yeah. So
she's made something that we think looks great. Just
I'm about to, yeah. You know what I was going to say? Exactly the same thing. You took the words right out of my mouth. You have been able to find the exact paperwork that you need free off the HoloNet. for the equipment you need from a private company working in the TriStar system. It's the exact form, and you filled it out perfectly.
It shows you that this job is meant to be. Absolutely.
Yeah. If anything, the force is with you on this one.
Oh dear, this is going to go horribly wrong.
The force is with you. Quote.
Hey, look, that force thing helped blow up the Death Star, so it's probably getting it's probably getting some traction now in the whole galactic expansive kind of thing.
Yeah. We're trying to be the good guys, right? Hey, the force.
We are trying to be the good guys.
I'm trying to be the non-dead woman.
Yeah, that too.
The one place I do not want to end up is being,
in an Imperial prison?
Yeah, because they'll find out who I am. And that's just not going to go well.
Well, they can find who you are. They can find who our guest is as well. Or they can find the shipment. And
it's not going to go well.
Or they can be just want to be not very agreeable anyway. And
can you remind me, is anyone here actually force sensitive?
No.
Okay, cool. Interesting.
Yeah, that's another one you see. There's that, and there's that as well.
I know. In fact, I know many of you. This is your first time as me running a game as a games master, but you can quite clearly see that I wear all my feelings and emotions on my sleeve for everyone to see. I have no poker face.
Right, so I think I'm going to be needing my piloting YT 1300 rolls in the near future somehow.
Don't worry, I've got some shields, so we'll be fine.
Cool. Well, that's 5D. So piloting is what I do best.
Perfect.
Now, Colin, before we kind of got onto the whole bureaucracy forms thing, you were going to make a roll, I believe, and we kind of skipped over it.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do because you got them doing that and I'm doing that.
Was it a streetwise roll?
Something like that. What's streetwise?
Knowledge.
Yeah, awesome. I'll see if I'll make an attempt as well, and we'll see if any better options turn up.
If you roll that wild dice one again, that's what we've got to call the ship. The wild dice.
The wild dice. Yes.
No. Boxcars. Rolling up. 17.
Fantastic.
On 2 dice.
Sweet.
Impressive. Impressive. Right, okay. You find out, having a little talk around,
yep,
that this adjutant, yes, is an ensign in the Imperial Navy. Yes, is adjutant to a Star Destroyer captain. But you find out that Star Destroyer captain, there has been rumor that they are planning on defecting.
Because there were a lot of factions in play here.
Well, that with the successful roll, we would have just said defecting, but with the successful roll such as that, it has come to your attention through gossip that you're hearing in some corners of the palace that the Rebel Alliance are on their way to the deep core. It is known that there is a sort of Rebel Alliance cell here. A squad of Y-wings that has been
They're going to have an interest in someone trying to become the next emperor.
Exactly. They've been this cell has been kind of plaguing the area with Y-wing hit and run tactics for ages. But the rumor mill is that a Rebel Alliance task force is en route.
Well, that makes things even more fun. Okay. So I'll talking to the others. So I was poking around to see what I can find out about our guest.
Yeah.
We found anything?
Yep. Interesting rumors that her boss is not just playing off one side against the other in this civil war. Rumors are that he's looking to defect to the Rebels or New Republic or whatever they're calling themselves these days.
Still the Rebel Alliance these days.
Still the Rebel Alliance. Okay, they've not got as far as New Republic
No,
yet.
they haven't got that far yet.
Cool. Okay, so the Rebel Alliance then.
Well, that's got to be a good thing, surely. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. Don't know.
It's going to make things a lot more interesting very quickly.
Yeah.
If the people we're going past are aware that this is going on, which they may be. I mean, if I've heard about it in a bar in a hut world, I'm pretty sure that information's pretty freely available. If they ID her, we've got serious problems. I mean, to be fair, if they pull us up anyway, we've got serious problems.
Yeah.
Pulling us up as rebel sympathisers probably might actually not make that much difference compared to if they pulled us up as smugglers and discovered that two of us are ex-imp.
Yeah. We are just execute us on the spot rather than sending us to prison. So, yeah.
I think executing us on the spot is probably the least bad outcome for at least the two of us.
Yeah.
The Empire does not treat deserters well. Just saying.
I assume.
Given the way they treat the people who don't desert.
No.
We better hope that those documents of yours hold up then.
Well, they look good.
No pressure. I mean, they look amazing.
Yeah, no pressure. They look amazing.
I can't see what can go wrong. I mean, what's the worst that can happen with these documents?
let's get that cargo loaded up, and we'll do the best we can with what we've got.
Yep.
How much are we getting for that shipment?
The shipment itself is only about 500 credits.
Sure. I'm not expecting a major
for the job because it is literally just you're basically taking
point B.
You're taking tri-steel filter cables in 2 crates. How was that for a blag? Tri-steel filter cables in a couple of crates to be delivered so that they can be attached to these refineries. You're going to take it to that main spaceport. And they're going to ship it out. They'll ship it out over themselves.
Okay. No, that's fine. It is what it is. You know, it's. I'm mostly thinking somewhat here. What's our budget for bribing whoever's on the other end of that Imperial core when we get there when they're asking us questions?
That's always an option, yeah.
Because, frankly, using the money we're getting paid to ship this stuff to bribe people to take it at face value, still leaves us with the pay for the original job.
Yeah, that's it. That's sort of free money for the job if we manage to do it.
Exactly.
It's good to have a bit of flash
cash on it. Well, fine, but
so yeah,
some cash flow. Yeah,
use that if you need to.
Okay.
He'll be saying to
Does anyone have anything else they want to do
No, I've got everything I think I need.
Not particularly.
No, don't think so. We're gonna go back on the ship in my quarters, clean
Pretty
up my
much.
blaster pistol.
I was wondering what you were about to do then. Did you say cleaning your blaster pistol?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Got to keep.
It's very sandy, you know. Yeah.
Don't want sandy.
Yeah, I'm gonna be on the ship, so yeah.
It's so coarse; it gets everywhere.
Sand, yeah.
You do not want your weapon malfunctioning in the middle of a holdout.
And, you know, I'm a mechanic. I like to.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Right. So, 24 hours later, you meet back up with the adjutant. She's wearing much like she was before, but she's in kind of like casual spacer gear. She's kind of got a one-piece kind of flight suit on, various sort of blue flight suit with various kind of like pockets, a sort of bandolier across her shoulders and around her waist, and she's kind of got a puffer jacket, like flak jacket on, with a sort of high collar that goes around the back. She's got a blaster pistol slung down by her on her hip. High, you know.
I think you've just gone muted.
You've muted yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're muted on Zoom.
That was weird.
That's better.
Blaster pistol on her hip.
Blaster pistol on her hip, kind of black, sort of high swashbuckler-like boots, a red bandana, long white hair, and basically looks like she can handle anything. Has an air of confidence about her.
Great.
On the plus side, with rumours I've heard, I'm a little less worried about her figuring out who we are on the grounds that a defector figuring out who a defector is less of a concern. On the downside, she's bringing more heat with her.
Well, we could find some more allies here, couldn't we, with the people that we're actually working for? So,
see what drops out, but
or we could just be patsies.
That's also a very definite.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trust your GM and all that. Yeah.
I don't know what you mean.
I do not trust. I don't trust the rebels not to drop us in at the moment. It's convenient for them. So.
Don't trust the rebels. Don't trust the Empire. Don't trust the Hudson. Don't trust the DM.
Yeah, pretty much.
Everybody.
Don't figure.
Not necessarily in that order.
So the adjutant goes, so ladies and gentlemen, are we ready to fly?
Yeah. Good to go.
Okay.
I think we are, yeah.
Well, I'll follow you.
Some greens.
Let's get going then.
So when you kind of walk through the corridors, well, these kind of like tent hallways. The ship itself is parked on a sort of pressed outdoor area, and it is lit up by kind of like flood lighting. There are crates and fuel umbilicals and water umbilicals coming off it, which one of the perks of working for the hut is that you will never need to pay for docking here, and you automatically get sort of like refuels of water and fuel and all that sort of stuff for free, because you're basically on the payroll, as it were. So Bogle looks after his guys to an extent, because he's a hut.
As long as we're still making him money.
As long as you're still making him money, he's good with you, basically. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So the ground crew kind of like detach the umbilicals, polish the cockpit window. The adjutant takes one look at it and goes, "This bucket of bolts is your ship?"
This bucket of bolts is the ship that Boga suggested you fly on. Now, are you getting on?
I don't really have much of a choice now, do I? No Y-1030 frigate. I didn't think they made these anymore.
There's enough of them kicking around.
Yeah, she's got some to offer.
Well, okay. Well, let's go on board. So you take her on board. She kind of makes herself at home a bit. You strap yourselves in the cockpit.
Yeah.
Buckle yourself off for takeoff. I'm not going to make you roll. Landing gears come up. Repulsor engines kick in, so you're floating a little bit above it. Then the engine, the kind of like repulsor drive kicks in, kind of lift up, pull away, and kind of fly off into galactic orbit, where you find yourself in space. I am going to make you roll an astrogations roll.
Cool. I'll do that because, oh yeah.
Mute yourself.
Yeah,
I
have got. Yeah, I have studied a little bit on astrogation, but
yeah,
you're the back.
19.
Yeah,
there we go.
On this one.
That's one of my better rolls.
Okay, so what is a 6-hour journey? You've got down to 4.
Nice.
Not only that, as long as you don't get stopped, which you probably will, you would be able to circumvent. You would go to where you would need to be for the paperwork of the TriStar system to make absolute sense. Yep. So in a sense that your exact
our trajectory is directly where we say we're going.
Yes, and your hyperspace exit is directly into the flow of traffic around that area.
Yeah. Cool. Brilliant. So I get us all going, and your
journey supports the paperwork.
Awesome. Unfortunately, the paperwork doesn't support the journey, but we'll discover that in due course, I'm sure.
Okay, there are 1 or 2 other ships taking off from the planet as you leave. Others coming and going. Boga's, travelers come and go. It is a sort of haven for wanderers, entrepreneurs, and kind of like lost souls, as it were, as well as your kind of scoundrels and villainy and all that sort of stuff. Mixed bag. Where you find yourself in that crowd is completely up to you. Anyway, so the star screen spirals, turns rapidly, the ship accelerates, and then you kind of get that blue-white swirling mass that is hyperspace, that hyperspace tunnel, as you find yourself from real space into hyperspace. Hyperspace almost looking like they filmed it with a bunch of white sheets in the tumble dryer and shine a blue light through it, but just saying. So
okay. Well, I'm knowing that I'm pretty sure I've punched in a pretty good route, so we're probably going to get pulled out somewhere around the 2.5 hour mark if this blockade's where we expect it to be. I'm going to go and try and get a couple of hours of rest, or an hour and a half rest. Sleep if I can.
All right.
Just rest if I'm not. I just want to be as refreshed as I can for what's likely to be what could very easily, I don't know, the paperwork's dodgy, could very easily be a very intense few minutes of dodging Imperial blockade.
Does anyone have anything they want to do on board the ship apart from rest?
No, that come to mind, so I think we're good.
Okay.
The adjutant makes herself comfortable.
I'm going to ask the medical droid to keep an eye on the adjutant, make sure she's not poking around in anything she shouldn't.
Sensible.
Yeah.
Very sensible. Right. So
I'm not going to be subtle about that, by the way. It's just a straight up. I'm not being. It's not.
I think she's
not
she's
vindictive or anything. It's
no,
just,
and she kind of moves in the sort of circles where she kind of expects that sort of thing. So yeah, she's not got a problem with it. If anything, she starts playing hollow kind of chess with the medical droid that's keeping an eye on her.
Fair enough.
She wins often.
Yeah,
She's taking it upon herself to kind of educate the droid
in the ways of hollow chess.
In the ways of hollow chess.
You want to watch how many times you beat that droid? He's got a bad temper.
Oh, why? Does he pull arms out of sockets when he loses?
You're lucky he puts them back again.
Yeah, well, he is a medical droid. I suppose that comes in handy.
Yeah.
She actually asks you, so how long have you guys been in this area of space?
I think that's probably the extent of my my interaction with her, because as I say, I'm going to go and lie down. So I'm checking out.
In which case, she's going to corner Gax. Gax.
Yeah.
How long have you and yours been in this kind of sector of space?
I'm
not seeing you around.
Yeah, we like to travel. We don't like to stay in the same area too much, not that we have done anything wrong, mind. Yeah, we like to travel where the work is.
Okay, and you worked for Boga long?
Yeah, well, Boga and contacts of Boga, yeah, definitely. But yeah, me and Boga go back a long way. Yeah.
Okay. And the she kind of leans into you a little bit conspiratorially, and she goes, and the alien, how long has that one been with you?
Yeah, well, again, yeah, she's been with us now nearly 3 years. Yeah.
Okay. You trust it?
Absolutely.
And it's almost as if she checks herself after saying it. She like seems to go back on her thinking and go, and you trust that one?
Yeah. You got nothing to worry about there.
Okay. Right. And if we get trouble, assuming that this goes off with a hitch, that's great. But if trouble does come up, you and yours are going to ensure my safety and that the job gets done?
So at that point, I'm going to quick draw out of my holster my holdout pistol and try and twizzle it round my finger and then put it back into the holster.
Yeah, you know what you do it. You're an experienced combat veteran, and you've got that sort of sleight of hand swivel, spinny swivelly thing going anyway. So yeah, and she nods appreciatively.
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to raise one eyebrow as I do it.
Okay. All right, well, thank you.
Do you play Sabak?
Yeah, all right. I'll play a hand of Sabak. This droid's getting a bit boring.
Okay.
Right, gambling rolls. I'm gonna assume you've got gambling, because otherwise, that as a
I was tempted to play a gambler with no gambling. To be fair, a really bad gambler.
That's just where all your money goes.
Yeah, it's a low stakes game, 5 credits each.
Okay. 17.
Sorry, I just
20,
saw my roll.
25.
Yeah, oh my god. So I rolled a 1 on my wild die. It was a significantly poor roll. So not only do you take it to the cleaners for 5 credits completely, you then play, we'll just say, 3 other hands, where that gets you 5 credits each as well. So you're walking around with plenty. 5 credits each, 4 hands. Yeah.
8 credits. Whee!
Yeah, I'm going to be particularly smug for the rest of the journey.
Yes. Catalana doesn't play for any significant money with you. She'll play every now and again, but only for money she's willing to lose, because she normally does.
Right. Yes, as expected, the gravitational alarm goes off. Red light starts flashing in the cockpit.
Here we go.
You're kind of bundle. It's almost on the money.
Yeah.
With the timing.
Although she might be surprised we're there a bit earlier than expected.
You come out of hyperspace, and what can only be described as a small Imperial fleet is waiting for you, consisting of, as described, 2 Indictor-class Star Destroyers. Indictor-class Star Destroyers, if you don't know, very similar in shape to Star Destroyers, because that triangular shape to it with the bridge, but it has kind of 4 sort of spheres built into the triangle on each one. These create gravitational wells which pull ships out of hyperspace. 2 of them, and another Imperial Star Destroyer, Type 1 Star Destroyer, bog standard one. There are
only a Star Destroyer.
It's only a Star Destroyer. Yeah.
It's only 3 Star Destroyers. It's not like we can't. Oh no, wait, we can't.
TIE fighters are kind of like screaming across the starscape. Other traffic is there. You can see sort of like the occasional Imperial shuttlecraft kind of docking with airlocks and then maybe leaving again. And you can see from your angle, kind of like above you, there are a couple of space transport type vessels that are in the Star Destroyer main docking hangar that are being taken in.
Are there other ships moving past?
There are, and there seems to be a sort of steady stream of traffic. There are about 7 or 8.
It's more of a checkpoint than a it's a checkpoint rather than a blockade.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You get an immediate hail when you come out of when you're pulled out of hyperspace, saying, "Vessel,
Gax, you're up.
Vessel 212 Mark 79. Please identify yourself and move into the following holding pattern."
I will do as we're told, but I'll let Gax do the talking. While we're doing this, I am going to be trying to plot an exit vector. I would like to try and get an exit vector that looks like we're heading to the Trisar system with the opportunity to stop early and redirect to where we actually want to go.
Okay.
If that's possible. Mostly, I absolutely want a get the fuck out of here exit vector, or if this goes wrong.
The sort of vector they've put you on has placed you in between the sort of half diamond formation of these Star Destroyers.
Oh yeah.
So what they're doing is you've got to fly between all 3, come out the other side, and then ships are leaving. Yeah. You could, in theory, just go straight down to galactic south, as it were.
But that's going to not get us where we want to.
That's also where all the TIE fighters are.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Basically, I want to have a few options.
Yeah,
so
totally.
As we're doing our talky bit, as Gax is doing the talking,
you're going to be there in the background.
I'm setting out half a dozen exit points so
that sit on that, and we're going to wait. We'll do a roll for that in a minute.
Of course.
Gax, you have been hailed. They've said basically, please identify yourself and move to this vector.
Okay. We are the
called?
The Wild Dice.
We're going to go with it. The Wild Dice. We're going with it. Yep. We're going with the Wild Die. Wild Die.
Not affiliated with Wild Card at all.
No.
We're going with the Wild Die.
That's a different ship.
That's a different ship.
Okay. We'll proceed to the vector straight away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So, about 2 minutes later, you get a another message saying basically slow to this speed to allow sensor sweeps of your vessel.
So now I'm doing exactly what's instructed. I'm playing along because it's a checkpoint. I'm going through the checkpoint. We'll show them all this.
You're not getting. You've not got any.
Business.
Yeah, you've not got anything hidden in any smuggling compartments. You're not carrying anything illegal. So I'm going to
casually,
apart from her, but she'll just
And us,
appear as
for that matter.
another life form rather than
Exactly. They can't identify which humans are on the ship, thankfully.
Yep.
which is good. Okay, a couple of TIE fighters do a flyby. I can't do a TIE fighter noise. Do a close flyby. You can almost see the TIE fighter pilots in their cockpits as they go past you. And your ship's sensors indicate that you're being scanned by these TIE fighters. You then get a sort of custom officers type commu. And he goes, and he's got he's like a little holographic display appears in front of you. This customs officer has an imperial uniform on, grey cap. He's looking at a data pad. He's not really interested in eye contact. He's reading the information. And he goes, YT 1300 frigate, identification code MX1, blah, blah, and he reels off the numbers. Name, wild die. What is your cargo and destination?
So I'll mute it. What do you reckon the best destination is to tell them?
Well, we're going to the TriStar system with that shipment. We've got the paperwork.
So we're happy to tell them we're going to the TriStar
Yeah, that's the cover. We're not actually going there, so that's the cover.
Okay.
We're not even taking this equipment there. So
Okay, we're taking medical equipment to the TriStar system.
It's industrial equipment.
I thought medical equipment might sound better.
Check that you actually say what's on the paperwork.
No. The gambler wants to play risky. Let's do it. Okay.
Oh, God. So, great.
What could possibly go wrong?
I just want to say for the record, I am not responsible for this.
No, you're not. Fuck's sakes, we have
the adjutant, the customs inspector, who looked incredibly bored and frankly couldn't be bothered with anything you said, suddenly kind of looks up and looks at the pad and he goes, "That's not what we just scanned your ship for."
Well, yeah, it's industrial medical equipment.
Sure. Okay. Right. Take a con roll. Do you believe it's perception?
Don't touch this one.
14.
Sorry?
14.
That's better.
14. I thought you said 40 then for a minute.
Oh, so I've got +2. So it's 16, sorry.
16. Right, cool.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to...
I'm not actually going, Catalana is not actually face palming in view of the call. She is getting...
Saw that Rodian brandy from earlier.
He seems to nod to himself and he goes, okay, yeah, fair enough. He kind of presses a few buttons on his pad. Right, you have clearance to move to this flight pattern. Please proceed at this speed and vector. Send over your manifest and paperwork, and it will get reviewed. But at the moment, you're cleared to go. Please follow these coordinates and this vector and this speed.
Move into that while paying careful attention to the TIE fighters.
I'll press the mute button. See, I had it all under control.
Send the paperwork over. Let's get this over with.
So, whether it's because of Gax's successful blagging, and that, industrial medical equipment doesn't really rate high on the paperwork list. I am going to allow another bureaucracy roll if you want to make it. Bear in mind, this might make your situation worse. Basically, you're rolling against submitting the form to the right department and the right people and the right section of this Star Destroyer. Well, this is the thing. If you make a successful roll, if you pass, you'll be able to bury it. So by the time that you get through and you're out the other side, they might not have even seen the paperwork.
See.
Fail the roll, and it will probably get pushed up.
I think that getting Mirabelle to try and play the bureaucracy is probably not a bad plan.
I'm not clued up on that bit. Yeah, just leave me for the talking.
Yeah.
I'll come in with the old
knowledge, right?
Yes, it's knowledge. Yeah. That's why we're shit at it.
So that's,
The Imperial.
So that's going to be only 3, yeah.
The Empire does not hire its soldiers to be smart.
Yeah, we know that. All right, well, I'm going to try. So 3 dice.
Better than our 2.
You got, that's not too bad. Okay, so that's 13.
Okay. So you file it away under subsection B of the customs policy against section F of the transportation of delegated cargo by third parties under this.
Some good mumbo jumbo.
Some good mumbo jumbo.
Yeah. Buy some time.
And you take your vector and you fly at the correct speed, and you can see these 3 Star Destroyers kind of hanging over your cockpit. And even back in your days as Imperials, there's always an eerie feeling when these things.
That many Star Destroyers means we're about to get shot at, even if we are Imperials.
I'm going to lean back in my chair and put my feet up on the controls, as in a sort of I've got complete confidence in my story, and light up a cigar.
Meanwhile, I'm tapping out astrogation hyperjump vectors to try and make sure try and figure out the closest, because this is just.
If we do go into hyperspace, this cigar is going to go somewhere in my orifice without me knowing, isn't it? Really, that far back.
You don't want to. You don't want that to happen.
So.
But yes, I'm trying to make sure.
Right, so let's make that astrogations roll now.
Okay. Fistful of dice. 19 again.
Fantastic. Okay.
Straight 5D. It's.
You are just clearing the undercarriage of the nearest Star Destroyer. You can see the sort of blue-whitey glow from their engines,
cool.
Kind of lighting up your cockpit. That you're that close.
Yeah.
When your comm goes beep, 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 and it's the customs inspector again.
Let's hold on as long as let's hold him at least 20-30 seconds before answering, because we weren't in the cockpit for this bit.
Okay. Can someone make a sensors roll for me?
Ooh.
I don't think I have that. Nope.
Nor do I.
So mechanical.
Mechanical.
Cool.
Whoever's got who's got the best mechanical for this?
I've got 3D plus 1.
4D.
Ah, there you go.
That's what piloting stuff's based on.
I can do tech, but not mechanics.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't worry. There's a big hole in the ship. I think you.
Yeah. That's the funny part is I'm a mechanic, but I can't roll mechanics.
Yeah, because mechanics come under technical.
I know. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. I mean, that's the weird thing that, like, I think also beast riding comes under mechanical.
Mechanical is basically doing stuff that is mechanical. It's operating things, whereas technical is the knowledge of how repairing and programming and making. 16.
There are several TIE fighters have split off from the main group and are on a vector towards you.
Okay, pull him up on the chat, on the comms. I think I'm about to punch the engines. Everybody get ready for a fight.
Wild Die, this is customs. And there seems to be a slight mix-up with the paperwork you've issued.
Really?
Yeah, can you do a reverse course, come about to this vector? And we will we'll come over and talk about this paperwork. It hasn't been filled in correctly.
Yeah,
I'm not happy with this at all.
Yeah, no. I mean, we're absolutely pleased to do whatever you say. Could I just ask what the issue is? Because to be fair, they've sent us the wrong paperwork before, and it's got us in bother. Right.
Hold it there a second. I will allow some sort of perception roll. So if you just bear with me 1 second, I'm going to put the light on here. It's gone dark.
Yeah, me too. I'm going to do the same thing.
The rest of my room is completely dark, but I've got the lights on above me so that my face is lit.
Yeah, and you got the backdrop, so we can't see. You're illuminated by the Millennium Falcon.
Yes, I am illuminated.
It's just showing off my Star Wars t-shirt there with all the Empire stuff on it.
Nice.
Sweet.
I should wear my. I've got a couple of Star. I've got at least one. I've got two nice Star Wars ones. I might have to wear one of them next time.
I have got Persuade.
I have to remember that too. Yeah.
I'm just trying, kind of getting a feel of his attitude. I will allow a perception roll.
I mean, you guys do such a tough job, and I understand that you've got to, pull up, but we have had this thing before, and.
All right. Gax, take it to Conroe.
You're trying to persuade him to give us the information we need so we can con our employer and get this sorted out so that by the time they're with us they can.
So I rolled a 6.
On Wild Die?
Oh no, sorry.
6 in total.
Sorry, I rolled 8 in total because my +2. But no, the Wild Dice was 3, so it's not that bad. It's just a really bad roll.
Just bad roll.
Well, it's more sort of a sense of where this guy's at the moment, in that he's more sort of fed up than actively aggressive. He's like, right, look, this form has been filled out incorrectly for the cargo you're carrying. It's a finable offence. We're going to need to send someone over so we can go through it all with you. Once that's all cleared up, you'll be on your way. Now, from that role, Gax, you think he's being absolutely sincere.
Okay.
And if someone takes a law enforcement role,
knowledge.
Yeah. I don't know why we're heavy on the knowledge skills today.
We are. No, that's because things haven't gone wrong yet. As soon as things go wrong, all my skills come into play. Yeah. But I'm perfectly happy not to have to roll lots of piloting checks.
That's gonna be 8.
It's a finable offence. It's probably going to cost you a couple of 100 credits. So at the moment, this is where you stand. He seems sincere at this point. They just want to send someone over to your ship.
Yeah,
it means going back into the blockade that you've just literally is close to clearing. Getting someone on board, filling out the paperwork correctly, getting a fine, and then leaving again. However, that does mean an Imperial is going to be kicking around on your ship. So, what do you want to do now?
Right. So, I think we go for it. We just stow the adjutant in one of our holds.
They're going to know how many people are on our ship from their scans.
They probably won't see everyone. Maybe they want to see the cargo, which might be problematic. But
the cargo is not necessarily a major problem.
The cargo, may I suggest that the cargo might be a major problem because someone said
oh yes,
industrial
someone said
medical
it's
equipment rather than industrial equipment.
How about an alternative? How about a little alternative? Because I don't think going back's going to be a good plan. I'm not happy with that. However, if it's going to be if the fine's a couple of hundred,
yeah.
How about we offer him like 400 to
Look,
forget
yeah,
about it and
yeah, absolutely. I know you guys work ever so hard and everything, and I understand we've messed you around. So, do you want me to send that fine over now?
You've piqued his interest. I will allow a
persuasion or bargaining roll.
I will allow yeah, it's more persuasion. It's more persuasion.
I've got persuade as well.
It's persuade. Go for it.
Okay.
Make it good. Don't roll one.
Someone on the Twitch chat just said, I guess it's no wonder why the GM has a red lightsaber color for his window border.
So we've got 19.
Fantastic.
Nice.
And I rolled a 2 on the wild dice, so it was touch and go.
So he's on board with what you're suggesting, and he goes, yeah, if you send that over now with a little extra, let's call it 300 in total. It was a good roll. You can be on your way.
Absolutely, I'll get that sorted straight away for you. And can I just say what a great job you guys do?
Well, thank you, sir, and thank you very much for your understanding, citizen.
Absolutely. And
cool.
Don't worry, when I get back, I'll have a word with our paperwork guy, and I'll make sure that this doesn't happen again.
You do that, and if you're back this way next time, let's make sure that's all in order that time, okay?
Yeah, okay.
I'm just going to mutter on the comms. It's coming out of his bloody pay.
So I'll mute it, and I'll turn around to the others and say, do you think I ought to mention the medical supplies again to get a little bit of
just
sympathy? Yeah, you
I
can't
think
be in a bit of sympathy with these guys. That's what I'm saying.
We're talking imperial.
This is the
bureaucracy.
same organisation you all used to work for.
Do you have?
Well, a few of you worked for.
We're talking imperial bureaucracy. Sympathy is like sympathy is a term is grounds for termination.
Well, yeah, but these guys have got to have the good side as well. I mean, I can't remember it being all. Yeah, well, yeah, probably it was all that bad actually.
Let's just go with going with.
Okay.
We'll accept his generous offer of 300. An extra 100 for not having to waste our time and his time.
Absolutely.
Then we get on our way.
Yeah. Yeah, but we're sending that over to you now. Have a great day.
Right, between you need to all remove that amount of money from your character sheets.
Yeah.
We got
just for the sake of argument, for now, knock 100 off each, and
yeah,
perfect.
I'm assuming the droid doesn't have any money.
I'm assuming the droid is not particularly.
I don't know.
Not particularly wealthy, but who knows? He's certainly not volunteered that he has any money anyway. Right. So, in which case, I will continue with the calm and measured exit from this blockade rather than the punch it, run. I was about to execute.
Okay, so finally, then, fly casual.
Yeah.
Let's have a piloting roll, please.
Okay. That is that, and a 6 on the wild die, so that's 18.
Yes, you attract no attention at all. Following the correct vector, the correct procedure, drawing no attention to yourself whatsoever in your flight pattern. You completely and utterly fly casual as you pull away from the gravitational wells created by these Star Destroyers.
And set off on a
once
trajectory that looks like we're heading in the direction that we said we were heading in.
You then easily come out of hyperspace again, reset your coordinates to the correct location, and start re-heading back. Well, actually, now here's the point. Did you want to go and drop off the cargo first and make a bit of money and then go to Everad? Or did you want to go straight to Everad? They're not that far apart. It'll probably be an extra hour or so on your time, and what could possibly go wrong?
Let's go drop off the cargo first. Honestly, I expect more complications from the second bit from dropping off this rebel sympathizer than from dropping off some filter cables. So,
no. Try. What did I say?
Tri-steel filter cables was I
Tri-steel filter cables.
Hence, filter cables.
I really do pull some crap out of my arse. Right.
So I'm expecting. This seems like a relatively straightforward thing, barring what we've just been through, and having already got through there, going and dropping that off, get paid for that. I'd rather do that. Basically, if we do it the other way around, it seems more likely we'd end up trying to drop that off with an Imperial blockade, with some Imperial attention, which is more likely to come.
Maybe, yeah.
So that's my thinking.
Yeah, we're not on anyone's radar right now, so it's perfectly fine.
Drop that off, then go drop off the Rebel and see what happens.
Yeah, that cargo nearly got us in trouble, didn't it? So let's get rid of that.
The place you're going, the planet itself doesn't have a name, but the kind of city / spaceport sitting atop the solitary giant mountain that's coming out of this thing, is basically known as Gastown.
Okay, cool. So we'll head to Gastown. We've not switched onwards to Mad Max at all.
This is exactly what I was thinking of. What's that? That's Bartertown, isn't it? Is that the one for Thunderdome?
Probably. There's Gastown. I think Gastown is one of the ones mentioned.
Oh, in the newer movie, yeah.
There's Bullet Town and Gastown and
Gastown, Bullet Town, yeah.
Somewhere else.
Okay, well, it's certainly not a post-apocalyptic vibe. As you come out of hyperspace into orbit around Gastown, it is a solitary forest moon. As
Guys, I'm just going to nip the toilet. Sorry.
Okay,
sure.
It is a solitary moon in an otherwise kind of bare system. It has that sort of like Goldilocks zone orbit around a yellow sun. It's massive in trees. I was going to use a fancy word there, but I can't remember what it was I was looking for. Are skyscraper in size. Their leaves.
Big trees.
Yeah, big, humongous trees. Their leaves quite expansive, and these kind of like, as I said, six-legged diplodocus like dinosaurs with like turtle shells upon their backs, long tails, and long necks.
I don't want to meet the predator that caused them to evolve shells.
Well, interesting. The way that the people of Gastown get around when they're moving from Gastown to the refineries that sit atop the backs of these things over the blowholes. Yep. They use a sort of pterodactyl-like dinosaur, but it's more sort of it's certainly raptor-like in shape. But it has a more sort of feathered appearance, kind of long, sort of rainbow-like feather scheme.
Nice.
Huge claws. But again, these dinosaurs are massive in size. And in Return of the King, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, you've got this kind of like giant elephants with the sort of boxes on top of them.
Yeah.
Imagine those boxes sitting atop these massive kind of feathered pterodactyl flying things. And that's how they kind of move their supplies around, and how the local enforcement kind of like keep the peace, riding these kind of things.
Turbo blasters mounted on them. Yeah.
You approach Gastown. As I said, there's very little in the way of mountainsides here. It's a massive singular mountain coming out of the forest.
Request docking.
They already know they already know you're coming. The governor is keen to receive the cargo. You land. The governor's men are already waiting there for you.
I'm assuming these are the people we've actually been employed to hand this over to, and
yeah, absolutely.
The governor trying to waylay
you were communicating with them on your approach.
Yeah,
they seem legit. It is again a hot organization as well. It works for Boga in some way.
Yeah.
So if you're messing with you're messing with Boga, as it were. So no one's going to kind of really try and screw you over here.
Yeah.
The city itself, Gastown, is carved into the rock. The buildings and such being carved directly out of the cold grey stone. I don't know if you're going to be hanging around at all.
Not intending to. Literally intending
so
to drop stuff off and then
make
head off
500. You can make the 500 credits easily. The exchange is simple.
So we get our 300 back, and then shall we keep a record of just basically a ship kitty for expenses like bribing imperial officials?
Might have to wait for the gambler / card shark. Sorry, did I say that out loud? Gags to return on that one. He might want to spend it on. He might want to say that Sabak funds come out of that as well.
Providing he wins more than he loses, and the winnings go back in, I'm not complaining.
I'm
going to think if we're just going to turn around here, this is probably a good place to have a brief break as well. I could do with the.
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
But yeah, I think we're just going to turn around, drop off the cargo, head off.
Okay.
Yep. I'll be back in a moment.
Right, quick toilet breaks.
Sure. Okay, break. Perfect.
Oh, thank you very much all for bearing with us as we all just took a quick break there. Right, we're going to jump straight back into it. Hope you're enjoying the show.
Got some entertaining comments on the Twitch chat, I have to say.
Yeah, what they say?
Mostly lots of quotes. It's an old code, but it's still valid.
Love it.
Someone was asking where our Wookiee co-pilot was.
Yeah, we still have one. We still need to find one, maybe.
Yeah, we need another player so we can have a Wookiee. We can have a Wookiee co-pilot.
I'm open to more players. I always feel, to a point, groups getting too big, but I think more players kind of makes for a great dynamic. And as I've already said before, though Lord Garblag has pulled me, the Garblag troll, out from the depths of Garblag Towers, releasing me from said dungeon to provide some sort of okay content. I think it's great that the current, I say great, it's an awful situation that we find ourselves in at the moment, but I think it's wonderful that we're kind of spreading outside of the usual crowd that we have player base around the studio, and we're kind of got more people coming in. I think that's really lovely that we're kind of getting more players on board and kind of sharing this role play experience. So thank you to Garblag as well.
That studio looks amazing.
The what looks amazing, sorry?
The actual studio
looks amazing. I only saw it on the videos.
Yeah, it is pretty good setup. I'm actually using one of the cameras from it at the moment. I didn't have a decent webcam.
He knows you've got that, right?
He gave it to me. I hope he remembers he gave it to me. No, it was just before. It was literally like the evening they announced lockdown. Just before they announced it, I'd headed out to go and pick up the camera because he'd already decided to shut the thing down. I get back, it's like, okay. So maybe, whatever. I've got it. It's quite good. It's a nice.
We're gonna crack on. I think
to answer the question, just for where can I get the Falcon backdrop? I literally just Googled Star Wars Zoom background or something like that, and it showed up. Because yeah. So have a look. There are loads of good. Literally, it's just a JPEG. So just find pictures of whatever, and you can drop it into.
Yeah, it's amazing what you can do these days without a green screen.
It's really cool. Yeah, it kind of does a bit of sort of image parsing, I guess, to figure out what's me, and then it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. You can also tell it if you actually have a green screen. If you actually have a green screen, it'll use that. I've not tried that because I don't have a green screen.
I think my webcam is capable of doing some green screen stuff, provided you have the correct processor to go with it. But my computer doesn't.
So I guess the message here is, please, Patreon, and all you gifters out there, please do come fund us. So that we can get
buy a green
screen for the studio.
Yeah.
Well, that would be a bit not very practical, because if we need a green screen for everyone at home, it's going to be a lot of green screens.
Studios. When we're back, when we're back, if Pete wants, Pete, take notes.
We could do satellite.
Well, no, I'm just thinking, not even satellite. You know how the studio's set up. It wouldn't be hard to set up a green around there, and then put up
easily hang it. Yeah,
put up
I do like the
game-specific backgrounds.
Yeah, well, I do like the bookshelves with.
Right. Bookshelves covered in games.
I think the bookshelves are an indication of how old our Lord Garblag is, with some of the content that he's got on that bookshelf.
Says the guy who's running D6 Star Wars.
D6 Star Wars, yeah.
Well, it is a classic, much like me. Take that as you will. I'm wondering, do we want to crack on or wait for Jim a bit longer? Because I don't know where he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of conscious for the time. I was kind of aiming for about 10 o'clock as a finish.
Yeah, we could crack on.
Okay.
Have had a question of how many episodes is this likely to be, if you want to answer that, or we're...
Good question. I will. Let me consult my book. You can get a live view of some of the notes there.
That is...
taken to handwriting my DM notes at the moment. Don't know
There's
why.
a lot more notes than I usually write.
Old habits.
This is without counting the ones.
I'm thinking about 8 or 9, and we're on alternative Wednesdays. But we'll see how it goes. Yeah, it wouldn't be the first time that the party manages to go through all the plot in the space of 2 sessions because they know exactly the level I'm on. I don't know if you guys have found that, but once you've written up all, you're kind of like, oh god, yeah, I did that, and they're like, oh, we'll do this, and you're like, oh,
okay, fine.
See that plot?
That's why I tend to leave things a bit open, so that it's a case of, oh, you've got through that bit of plot. Okay, well, I guess we're just moving on to the second arc early then. I can come up with stuff. I've got. You've got a couple of weeks between games. That's enough time to come up with more plot, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. We're gonna crack on a little bit now, I think.
Yeah.
So you drop the cargo off.
Drop the cargo. Get the pay for that.
Get the pay. One of the governor's minions comes and drops off the money.
Presumably,
job well done.
Yeah, presumably it's capable of being wired, given that we wired. We.
Yeah.
But
you're not exploring the city at all, so literally just get back in your ship.
Pretty much.
Take off, pull away from orbit.
We're going on to do the next paying job. Got multiple jobs on the go.
Yeah, the one we actually need to do.
And it's off to Everard. The adjutant does say, well, why are we taking so long?
Given that we've made the journey quite a lot quicker than the original estimate anyway.
It seems like a bit of an unnecessary sideshow. It's not very efficient.
Yeah, it's efficient for us. We agreed to do a job for one of Boga's associates, and if anything's going to cause us trouble, it's going to be when we deliver you, and I didn't want to be doing this bit of work with whatever trouble we get from you. Hopefully none. We'll see, but shouldn't be more than another hour to get to where we're going.
Okay, well, it's not how I would run things, but I'm just an experienced officer. What do I know? Just kind of giving you a funny look. And it's almost as if there's a slight recognition of that indoctrinated Imperial training there. Making those efficiencies. Why is it not timetabled? All those kind of things that operate the Imperial machine. So the ship pulls away from the planet. You pull the kind of hyperspace levers down. Ship accelerates off into hyperspace. The star screen shoots past you, and you head into that blue twirly mass of hyperspace. It is going to be a very short journey, and literally within a matter of half an hour, if not more, having pilot done an excellent vector for it, you are out of hyperspace, in orbit around Everard. A Earth-like planet, mostly not Pangea. What's the word I'm looking for?
Archipelagos.
Archipelago. I should know this. I play Civ religiously. Archipelago, but mostly this kind of deep red ocean mass with these huge tumbleweed-like balls of plants, also kind of town size in mass. Sort of like, as I said, those tumbleweeds that you see in the Wild West movies.
But the size of a town.
Yeah, but also kind of mixed with, like, those sort of balls of mistletoe you see atop trees, that kind of like densely packed mass. It's like that. And as you're flying towards one, you can see that there's almost like a Return of the Jedi-esque Ewok style treehouse town in it.
But we're expecting somewhere a little more. They might be using the local materials, but we're expecting somewhere that's overall.
And so they've
reasonable
kind of
tech level. It's not like
they dug out pathways into the route, and they've kind of got like rope and swing bridges across, and there are platforms for starships and all that sort of stuff. But the buildings are put together definitely from local resources and reeds and kind of that plant to kind of like make the roofing and all that sort of thing.
Okay, well, I'll follow the directions that our passenger has supplied and keep an eye on the sensors.
I think
anything involving a rebel task force is making me a little itchy.
A little nervous, yeah.
A little nervous that some people are going to start shooting, and I'm going to have to find a way out of it all.
Just bear with. I think Jim just sent us a message on Discord.
He said he'll be back in a minute. Yeah.
Okay.
So said it would be
this
back.
Might be over by the time he gets back, unfortunately.
Just losing players one at a time.
Is it me? This is the first time I've done this, and I've lost 2 players in the space of 2 hours. I have a pretty fragile ego. Never mind.
Yeah, we'll sit here.
Thank you. So, you land your ship on one of the pads. There's no kind of there's no sort of local government here. There's no imperial government here. So it's just kind of like land where you can. There's no port fees or anything like that. So you land on one of these platforms. Aha!
Sorry about that, guys.
No, you're all right.
Yeah, good, thank you.
All right, cool. So I was just saying, so just to recap you quickly, basically you've left Gastown, you've headed to Everyard. You have now landed there on one of the kind of transport pads, and you're just kind of getting out, and everyone's feeling a little on edge as you come down the sort of like gantry down onto the hangar bay. You've all kind of like got the hands by holsters, as it were. And
we're going to just to backtrack a little bit. We got the 500 credits from dropping off the thing.
Okay, cool.
Oh yeah.
So I was going to suggest the 100 each we paid for the bribe back, so that's covered. And then I was going to suggest starting a ship kitty essentially for such group expenditures as bribing imperial officials.
Mentioning medical supplies.
So what we spent earlier back, and then 200 extra to put into the kitty.
Yep.
Cool. So I've made a note of how much is in there as the ship funds.
Point of note, I finally got the Twitter feed up on my screen, and point of order, no, we have not gotten into the Mandalorian. Though that is more sort of has overtones of classic spaghetti western. This is definitely more overtones of classic Star Wars space opera.
Slapstick, yeah, a certain amount. Anyway,
yeah,
cool.
And so you've landed on and you're making, and she basically says, right, I've got the name of a bar that we're supposed to meet this contact at.
Okay. Are you going to need backup, yeah?
Yeah, your job is to deliver me to this person. So I'm not paying you until we've met them.
Okay.
Are we expecting trouble?
No, she says, a little bit shiftily.
Of course, we're expecting trouble.
Yeah, I get it. She doesn't like me very much, but yeah, I'll go with it.
Imperial officers doing clandestine deals on unnamed planets. You really think we're not expecting trouble? Bring your gun.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Right.
I've been living on Arshada, so there's no way I'm going anywhere without my blaster.
So you begin heading towards the bar, which you can see, and it's kind of got that like almost a sort of Club Tropicana feel to it, you know, wooden bar stools, open bar, thatched roof, that kind of thing. And as the moment happened, you kind of get the feeling that if we hadn't gone to Gastown, we would be in that bar right now. As a squad of Y-Wings flies right over and starts bombing the hell out of it. Everyone take dex rolls or dodge rolls.
Dodge rolls. I'll take a dodge roll.
I don't have dodge yet.
I have
I
dodge.
fully expect to get 1 point there at some point.
I have dodge because I was expecting this. Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, it didn't fit very well into the character background, but
18.
18 for me as well.
So what's my dex for?
Nice.
Let's roll 4.
Okay, you got higher dex skills than me.
Yeah, I've got a great roll, but I've got a 1 on my one dice.
Just take away your other lowest dice.
The other lowest?
Yeah.
So that's gonna be 12.
Okay.
Nice.
So you're all fine.
2 6s, 3, and a 1.
you clear the explosion as these Y-Wings fly over, bombing a civilian bar. And you all kind of take a dive off the bridge that you were on onto a sort of deck, balcony kind of area below you, hitting the ground with a thud. As you see a group of, you've all encountered them before, rebels, kind of clearing past the kind of burning building in a sort of very tactical way, blaster rifles out, kind of spreading out in a combat approach. They're clearly looking for something. And the Y-Wing squad begins to turn around for another flyby as it heads towards you. And that's where we're going to end tonight. Basically, just to summarize that ending, a squad of rebel...
What the
a Y-Wing squad is about to do a flyby of you, and some rebels seem to be blowing up bars and hunting you down. So yeah, that's where we're leaving it tonight. Thank you very much.
Who knows what they're up to?
If Lord Garblag is not watching, can someone let him know that we're going to need to close down the Twitch feed? And just say thank you very much all, and thank you all much for your wonderful comments in the Twitch section. And thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you very much.
On Star Wars Tale of the Warlords. It's been a great night gaming with you all tonight. I'm looking forward to doing it again week after next. I hope you've had a lovely night, and I hope that our wonderful Twitch followers will be following us again. We've loved your comments and feedback, and our starship names as well. So thank you very much all, and good night.